Attention, Kules. What I'm about to tell you will leave you speechless. Hansi Flick has just revealed some devastating news about Lamine Yamal that no one saw coming. What happened at the Ciutat Esportiva Joan Gamper has left all Barça supporters in a state of absolute shock. But before I reveal all the details of this explosive information that could completely change the course of the season, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to not miss any of the most important news about FC Barcelona. In the next few minutes, you will discover not only what really happened to our young star but also the million-dollar decisions the management is making, the explosive signings being prepared in silence, and why Marc-Andre Ter Stegen could well be living his last days as Barca's goalkeeper. This is much more serious than you can imagine, Kules. What I'm about to tell you now will completely change your perspective on the current situation of FC Barcelona. Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, our captain and starting goalkeeper, is living a nightmare that began in the most unexpected way during international matches with the German national team. Since the final 4 matches of the Nations League against Portugal and France, played on June 4th and 8th respectively, Ter Stegen has been suffering from back pain that has evolved in a concerning manner. What initially seemed like a simple muscle discomfort has turned into a structural problem that endangers not only his sports career but also the club's strategic planning for the entire season. The FC Barcelona medical team, after conducting multiple tests and consulting international specialists, has reached a devastating conclusion. Ter Stegen needs urgent surgery that could keep him off the field for a full 4 months. 4 months, Kules. Imagine what that means for a club that aspires to compete in all tournaments. The gravity of the problem lies in the fact that it is not a superficial injury. Medical reports we have obtained from sources very close to the club reveal that Ter Stegen suffers from a herniated disc that compresses fundamental nerves for his mobility. This condition not only causes him constant pain but also affects his reaction capacity and reflexes, crucial elements for an elite goalkeeper. But here's the part that will surprise you. This sports tragedy could turn into a golden opportunity for the club's finances. According to the league's financial fair play regulations, if Ter Stegen opts for surgery and his extended leave is confirmed, the club will automatically free up 80% of his salary for salary cap purposes. What does this mean in practical terms? That Barca would have an economic margin of approximately €12 million to sign new players or renew existing contracts. This figure is crucial when you know that the club is struggling to comply with strict financial fair play standards. But don't worry, as Ter Stegen would not lose a single euro of his salary. The captain would continue to receive his full earnings, thus ensuring his financial stability throughout the recovery period. It's a win-win situation that, although painful from a sports perspective, could open important doors for the club's future. And here's the economic bombshell that few people know. FC Barcelona has immediately informed FIFA of Ter Stegen's injury, complying with all established protocols, as the problem occurred during official matches with the German national team. This automatically activates FIFA's Club Protection Program. Do you know what this means? That if Ter Stegen remains on leave for more than 28 consecutive days due to this injury suffered during international matches, Barca can receive economic compensation of up to €20,548 per day. Doing the math, we're talking about approximately €2.465 million for the 4 months of leave, with a maximum cap of €7.5 million for a 12-month period. This isn't the first time Barca has benefited from this program. In November 2023, GAVI's serious injury with the Spanish national team generated significant financial compensation that helped the club cover salary costs. Similarly, Ronald Araujo's injury with Uruguay during the July 2024 Copa America also activated this protection mechanism. Ter Stegen's decision about surgery is not just a medical matter. It is a decision that will shape the immediate future of FC Barcelona. Freeing up 80% of his salary for financial fair play, combined with a possible compensation of €2.465 million from FIFA, gives the club a unique opportunity to better manage its finances at an absolutely critical time. While our captain evaluates all his options by consulting the best specialists in Europe, Barca's management waits, aware that resolving this case can determine not only the sports season but also the club's ability to carry out the much-needed market operations. But if you thought Ter Stegen's situation was complicated, wait until you hear what's happening with Frenkie de Jong. The first piece of news we must address with maximum urgency concerns the future of our Dutch midfielder. And I tell you that the situation is much tenser than what the management wants to admit publicly. The deadline for Barca to renew de Jong's contract is running out dramatically, and despite multiple rounds of negotiations that have stretched over months, the club and the players still cannot reach an agreement that satisfies both parties. The differences are not only economic. There are issues of sports project, role in the team, and personal ambitions that greatly complicate the conversations. But here's what has really strained the relationship to the limit. According to information we have been able to verify with sources very close to the locker room, Jong has categorically refused to undergo surgery that would have significantly accelerated his recovery from an ankle injury he has been suffering from for weeks. This decision has generated deep discontent within the club's management, which interprets this refusal as a lack of commitment to the project. The directors consider that a player who aspires to renew his contract should be willing to do everything necessary to return to his best level as soon as possible, including undergoing surgical interventions when doctors recommend them. Meanwhile, the big clubs in Europe are not wasting any time. Manchester United, which had already tried to recruit De Jong in the past, has reactivated its interest and is preparing an offer that could be around €80 million. But they are not alone in this race. Mikel Arteta's Arsenal has strongly entered the battle, seeing the Dutchman as the missing piece to make the definitive leap to the Premier League title. The Gunners are ready to offer not only a sum similar to that of United, but also a more attractive sports project and an absolute leading role in midfield. But the surprise comes from Italy, where Juventus has emerged as an unexpected candidate. The Bianconeri, in full reconstruction under the direction of their new technical project, see De Jong as the franchise player capable of leading their return to the top of European football. FC Barcelona now finds itself facing one of the most complex dilemmas of recent years. On the one hand, selling De Jong, who has a contract until 2026, would allow the club to collect a very significant sum that would considerably relieve the finances and give room to make other priority signings. On the other hand, losing a player of De Jong's quality and characteristics would be a very hard sporting blow for Hansi Flick, who counts on the Dutchman as a fundamental piece in his tactical scheme. The midfielder brings a unique combination of technique, game vision, and physical ability that is very difficult to replace in the current market. What complicates the situation even more is that time is playing against Barça. The longer this uncertainty drags on, the more the club's negotiating position devalues. The interested teams know that Barça must make a decision quickly, and this gives them an advantage to pressure and lower the offers. Additionally, keeping a player who is not fully committed to the project can generate tensions in the locker room and affect the team's atmosphere at crucial moments of the season. What do you think, Kules? Should Barça sell Frenkie de Jong and use that money to strengthen other positions, or should they fight to renew his contract and keep him as a key piece in midfield? Leave your opinions in the comments, as this topic generates enormous controversy among the supporters, and your voices are fundamental to understanding the fan sentiment. Now, let's talk about news that initially filled all Kules around the world with pride and emotion. On Wednesday, July 16th, Lamine Yamal, our young star of just 18 years old, officially signed the extension of his contract with Barça until 2031. But that's not all, as the ceremony included an announcement that moved even the oldest supporters to tears. Yamal was officially presented as the new bearer of the club's number 10 jersey. This mythical number that has been immortalized by absolute legends like Lionel Messi, Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, and Diego Armando Maradona. Seeing our young star wear this jersey was a historic moment that symbolized the passing of the torch between generations. During a special event celebrated at Camp Nou, in the presence of President Joan Laporta and several members of the board of directors, Yamal could not contain his emotion as he declared, "Barça is my life, it's my home. I have been here since I was 7 years old, and reaching the first team has been a dream come true. Wearing the number 10 is a huge responsibility, but I am ready to honor this number." The celebration extended beyond Camp Nou. In the Rocafonda neighborhood, where Yamal grew up, the neighbors organized a spontaneous tribute that culminated with the creation of a spectacular graffiti on one of the most emblematic walls of the neighborhood. The artistic work highlights his most recent achievements, including the Spanish treble won last season, La Liga, the Copa del Rey, and the Spanish Super Cup. This gesture from his home community demonstrates the impact Yamal has had not only in the world of football, but also as a symbol of hope and overcoming for the young people in his environment. His story, from the dirt fields of Rocafonda to becoming the bearer of Barca's number 10, is an inspiration for thousands of children who dream of following in his footsteps. But the happiness was short-lived. During the training session on Friday, July 18th, absolutely concerning news put all Barca supporters on maximum alert. Lamine Yamal felt discomfort in his ankle that forced him to leave training early to be immediately evaluated by the club's medical team. Images of the young star limping slightly as he headed to the locker rooms circulated on all social networks, generating a wave of concern among the team's supporters. Although initially, It was said to be a slight discomfort. The reality is that any physical problem with Yamal automatically becomes a maximum priority alert for the club. What makes this situation particularly worrying is Yamal's recent history of injuries in this same area. In December 2024, the winger suffered a grade 1 ankle injury that kept him off the field for 3 full weeks, a period that coincided with crucial matches in both the League and the Champions League. According to Dr. Rull, a specialist in sports medicine, who was consulted in a recent interview, recurrent injuries in the ankle area can be particularly delicate in young players who are still in physical development. When a footballer suffers a second injury in the same area in a short time, there is a risk that it could become a chronic problem if not treated with the utmost care, the specialist explained. To understand the magnitude of this concern, one must analyze the importance of Yamal in Hansi Flick's tactical scheme. The young winger is not just a promise for the future. He is, without a doubt, one of the fundamental pieces of Barca's present. Last season's statistics speak for themselves: 25 goals and 34 assists in all competitions, numbers that make him one of the most decisive players in the entire league. His ability to unbalance matches, create goal opportunities, and resolve complicated situations has made him the main player of the team, even above footballers with much more experience. Facing this situation, Barca's technical staff is already working on different scenarios. If Yamal's injury is confirmed and requires a prolonged recovery period, Flick would have to completely rethink his tactical system for the first matches of the season. The options at right wing are limited. Rafinha could take this position, although his best performances occur on the left side. There is also the possibility that Ferran Torres assumes this role, although his profile is very different from Yamal's. The third option would be to bet on a player from the reserve team, but this would involve considerable risk in high-demand matches. Q's, here's the news that could completely revolutionize the European transfer market and positions FC Barcelona as one of the absolute protagonists. Marcus Rashford, the talented winger from Manchester United, has made Barca his priority destination for the 2025-26 season, and negotiations are already more advanced than many imagine. The English forward, who is going through a very complicated situation at Old Trafford, sees Barca's project as the perfect opportunity to relaunch his career and show once again why he was considered one of the best wingers in the world. But this operation is not only important for Rashford's sporting value. The economic and strategic implications are enormous. To understand the magnitude of this opportunity, we need to analyze what is happening at Manchester United. Rashford's situation at the English club has become absolutely untenable. Coach Ruben Amorim has made it clear that he does not count on the player for his plans, and this decision has led to a total breakdown between the forward and the club's sports structure. Rashford has been completely sidelined from training with the first team and from all team dynamics. This measure, initially presented as temporary to avoid conflicts, has become a permanent situation that reflects Manchester United's urgency to resolve the forward's future. Amorim's decision is not capricious. According to sources close to United's locker room, there were constant tensions between the coach and Rashford regarding the player's tactical role, his defensive commitment, and his attitude during training. These irreconcilable differences have led to a situation where coexistence has become impossible. Manchester United has set a clear and non-negotiable deadline to resolve Rashford's situation: the end of July 2025. This deadline is not coincidental. It coincides with the closing of the summer transfer market and reflects the Red Devils' urgency to avoid the uncertainty surrounding the player from dragging on any longer. United's management fully understands that a high-profile player like Rashford, who is outside of the plans, can create an atmosphere of instability in the locker room. His journey at the club, marked by moments of absolute brilliance but also by periods of inconsistency, has made him a polarizing figure for both supporters and teammates. The decision to sideline Rashford from training with the first team, without contact with teammates or the technical staff, is a clear indicator that the club is willing to take drastic measures to accelerate his departure. This strategy, while pragmatic from a sports management perspective, is not without significant risks. Isolating a player of Rashford's caliber can generate severe criticism from supporters and the English press, in addition to potentially devaluing the player in the transfer market. However, United believes that the benefits of resolving the situation quickly outweigh these risks. While Manchester United is pushing for a quick resolution, clubs interested in Rashford are intensifying their efforts, each with their own motivations and financial limits. The competition for the English forward has become one of the most followed sagas in the transfer market. Juventus has emerged as the most proactive club so far, having initiated preliminary talks with Rashford's representatives. The Italians see the Englishman as an opportunity to strengthen their attack with a versatile and experienced player, capable of playing in multiple offensive positions. However, Juventus faces the significant challenge of convincing Rashford to accept a considerable salary reduction. According to recent information, the forward is not willing to give up a significant portion of his earnings, which greatly complicates negotiations with the Turin club. Let's talk about concrete figures, as the amounts involved in this operation are impressive. Rashford's current salary at Manchester United is estimated at €20 million per season, a sum that makes him one of the highest-paid players in the Premier League. On the other hand, United has set a transfer fee of around €40 million to let the forward go. This figure, although it may seem high for a player who is outside the coach's plans, reflects Rashford's market value and the need for United to recover part of the investment made in him. This is where FC Barcelona comes into play with a competitive advantage. Unlike other interested clubs, Barça can offer Rashford something that goes beyond the economic aspect: an exciting sports project, the opportunity to play in La Liga, a league that has always attracted the Englishman, and the possibility of working with Hansi Flick, a coach who has demonstrated his ability to enhance offensive players. Additionally, Barca's financial situation, although complex, could benefit from the salary relief that would be generated by the possible surgery of Ter Stegen. These additional €12 million of margin in financial fair play could be key to making the Rashford operation viable. From a sporting perspective, Rashford fits perfectly into the tactical system that Hansi Flick wants to implement at Barca. The English forward has the versatility to play both as a left and right winger and can even act as a centre forward in certain situations. His speed, dribbling ability, and shooting power make him an ideal player for the style of play that Flick wants to develop. Furthermore, his experience in high-level competitions, including the Champions League and the English national team, brings significant added value to a team that aspires to compete for all titles. Cules, we must now talk about something that goes completely unnoticed by many supporters but will be fundamental to understanding Barca this season. Hansi Flick is implementing a silent tactical revolution that goes far beyond what we have seen so far in public training sessions. According to sources very close to the technical staff, Flick is working on a hybrid system that combines elements of Barca's traditional 4-3-3 with concepts from modern German football. This fusion creates a completely new style of play that could revolutionize the way the team competes in La Liga and Europe. What is most interesting about this new system is the way Flick redefines the roles of each position. The fullbacks, for example, are no longer simply defenders who join the attack. They become true midfielders who occupy central spaces when the team has possession. Alejandro Balde and Jules Kounde are being trained to act as inverted pistons, a position that allows them to create numerical superiorities in the center of the field while the wingers open up completely towards the flanks. This tactical modification creates spaces that did not exist before and confuses rival teams during practice matches.